watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. I'm standing in for Faye today. Let's get straight to it. Our top story is the drugs on cruise case. A special court under the NDPS Act on Monday has disposed of an application of the NCB to bar cognizance of the affidavit filed by Prabhakar Sale, one of the witnesses in the drugs on cruise case, who had claimed that he was made to sign blank sheets on the day of the raid on the 2nd of October. Now, the court said, as the case was already before the Bombay High Court in the form of bail applications of the accused, including that of Aryan Khan, the agency should move the High Court for proper directions in this regard. Now, NCB's Mumbai Zonal Director Sameer Vankade had earlier filed an affidavit before the special NDPS court saying that he's under a lurking threat of arrest due to a malified intent. Now, Vankade had approached the Mumbai Police Commissioner also yesterday, seeking protection from likely legal action being planned against him by unknown persons as well. Now, this comes, and I give you a quick reminder, after Prabhakar Sal, a witness in this particular case, claimed that officials of the NCB made him sign 10 blank papers at the NCB office. He also expressed a threat to his life, even as his employer Gosavi has gone missing. And according to the Indian Express, now Deputy DG Gyaneshwar Singh, who will conduct the vigilance inquiry against Vankade, said that he is yet to begin the probe. He also added that he was not summoned. He has not summoned Vankade so far. Meanwhile, the NCB had summoned Ananya Pandey again on Monday for a third round of questioning on the drugs and cruise case. They claimed to have found chats between Aryan Khan and Pandey related to the drugs. However, Ananya Pandey has sought more time to answer the anti-drug agency's summons, citing professional commitments. Meanwhile, the centre submitted before the Delhi High Court that as the law stands in India, marriage can only be between a biological man and a biological woman. Now, this comes after the court was hearing a batch of petitions seeking recognition of same-sex marriage. Now, Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who was appearing on behalf of the centre, said, and I quote, "There is a misconception based on Navtej Singh Johar case. It merely decriminalizes same-sex relations. It does not talk about marriage. The law is settled. Personal laws are settled. Marriage, which is contemplated, is between a biological man and a biological woman," end quote. In the meantime, Advocate Karuna Nandi, who was appearing for another petitioner, said that her case is on a distinct question concerning the Foreign Marriages Act. Now, when a couple gets married in a country where same-sex marriage is allowed, such couples should be allowed to register their marriage in India, she said. Now, the next hearing on this case will be on the 30th of November. An update now from the state of Uttarakhand. Amid the ongoing rescue efforts in the state because of heavy rainfall, the toll of deaths have now reached up to 76. 14 people are still missing. DGP Ashok Kumar told NDTV in an interview, and I quote, 14 people are still missing who are either buried in the debris of collapsed houses or landslides or were washed away in the flooding that followed 3 days of incessant rains in the state, end quote. On to news from Uttar Pradesh. Now, Uttar Pradesh has reported its first case of Zika virus after a warrant officer in the Indian Air Force has tested positive to the virus in Kanpur. According to the chief medical officer, the officer had been suffering from fever for the last many days. In fact, the officer's blood sample was collected and was sent to the NIV in Pune after he began showing some mysterious symptoms. In August this year, if you remember, the Kerala government had declared that the Zika virus outbreak has been brought under control, with no cases of new infections being reported from any part of the state. Now, Zika virus is spread by a mosquito called an Aedes mosquito, and through those bites, and currently there is no vaccine or specific treatment for the same as well. In the poll-bound state of Uttar Pradesh, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi has promised free medical treatment of up to 10 lakh rupees if her party is voted to power. Now, the Congress leader had flagged off a party's Pratigya Yatras from Uttar Pradesh's Barabanki district on Saturday with 7 promises, including loan waiver for farmers and jobs to 20 lakh people if voted to power. Also in the news, and this is a little worrying, the United States intelligence agencies have identified that India is among 11 countries of concern with regard to climate change. Now, the report says that 11 countries, including Afghanistan and Pakistan, are highly vulnerable in terms of their ability to prepare for and respond to environmental and societal crises caused by climate change. Now, the report also throws light on how India and China plays a critical role in determining the trajectory of temperature rise. India and China are the fourth and the first largest emitters, respectively. Now, the report has been released ahead of the 26th crucial United Nations Climate Change Conference of the Parties in Glasgow. Let's also take a look at what is making news as far as COVID is concerned. India has reported 14,306 new COVID cases and 443 deaths in the last 24 hours. Kerala has reported 6,664 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Meanwhile, scientists from INSACOG have said that a new mutated form of COVID, which is called the AY 4.2, has caused panic in Europe, but it's also present in India in very low numbers and presumably more contagious than the Delta variant. They say that this new mutated form is expected to have caused the massive increase in COVID numbers that we're currently seeing in the UK, Russia, and Israel, especially last week. According to the Economic Times, 7 cases of the new COVID variant that we're looking at has been reported so far. And scientists have now said that the AY 4.2 related findings still carry a high level of uncertainty. And it's still early to say that this lineage carries a higher risk of illness or death. Now, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has announced that schools and colleges in the state will reopen from the 15th of November. Mamata Banerjee also went on to say, and I quote, "Please wear masks properly. The number of COVID cases registered a spike after Durga Puja. Hence, you must follow the COVID safety precautions. Do not keep the mask hanging from your chin." End quote. Let's now take a look at what's making news across the world. Sudan's general has declared a state of emergency in the country as soldiers arrested members of the country's cabinet. Sudan's general said, and I quote, "We guarantee the armed forces' commitment to completing the democratic transition until we hand over the power to a civilian elected government," end quote. The head of Sudan's Sovereign Council has dissolved the council and the cabinet and declared a state of emergency across the whole country. He also dissolved all the state governments and removed the governors from their positions. He has said that a caretaker government will be announced before the end of November and declared that general elections will pay way to a civilian government and will take place on July 2023. Meanwhile, China on Saturday has adopted a new law on the protection and exploitation of the land border areas, which could have been bearing on China's border dispute with India. Now, this is according to the PTI, the report, which says that the law, which becomes operational from January 1st next year, formalizes combining the military defense of China's land borders with improving social and economic development in border areas. Now, it further strengthens the People's Liberation Army's policy to work closely with civilians staying in border areas. For example, Tibetan villagers living along the border with India, Bhutan, and Nepal to work as the first line of defense. Also in the news, Singapore Health Ministry on Saturday announced the resumption of travel for India and certain other countries, including Pakistan and Bangladesh, from the 26th of October. Singapore State Times quoted its health ministry, and I quote, "All travelers with a 14-day travel history to Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka prior to departure to Singapore will be allowed to enter and transit through Singapore from 11:59 p.m. on the 26th of October, end quote. However, the ministry also stated that these travelers will be undergoing the tightest of quarantine rules. Let's now take a look at what's making news from the world of sports. India was massively disappointed on Sunday because Pakistan defeated India in their first T20 World Cup 2021 Super 12 Group 2 match in Dubai on Sunday. It is Pakistan's first ever victory against India in a Cricket World Cup. India had won each of the previous 12 matches against Pakistan in World Cups, including 5 in T20 World Cups. Now, India will now face New Zealand on the 31st of October. Meanwhile, Real Madrid climbed to the top of the La Liga table with a 2-1 win against Barcelona in the season's first El Clasico at the Camp Nou Stadium on Sunday. It was Real Madrid's fourth win in a row in the El Clasico since 1965. Also, a bit of positive news before we leave you. 5-year-old boy from Bengaluru, Vidyun Hebbar, has won the Young Wildlife Photographer of the Year 2021 award, which is also being dubbed as the Oscar of Wildlife Photography. Vidyun had submitted a picture of a tent spider taken in a car park in Bengaluru and titled it as "To Home." We wish Vidyun all the very best. Thank you so much for watching. This is the end of Just the News.